Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, August 23rd. I'm Michael Taylor, but you know it's a Saturday if I'm here at the desk. That's a given, right? So here we are on a Saturday, and we've a great show for you. Hope you're enjoying your weekend, first of all, and I'm here to make it even better, right? That's all I do. We have a great show for you. Folks from RadNet are going to be here. We're going to be talking about screening firefighters for their lungs for any kind of lung disease, any kind of issues there. Timothy Merchant's going to be talking about that program that they're comboing up with RadNet on. And then later in the program, Solace Home Care, Bode Swanson and Quincy Novella, they're going to be here talking about kind of their start in the business and how they've evolved and the origins of the home care system and how you really want to have someone who's certified and insured and that kind of thing in your home. And they're going to be talking about how you pick the best person for you when it comes to that time where you have someone in care in your home. All right, right now though, we want to talk about staying informed, and we want to keep you informed with all the candidate meetings that we've been having over at 3rd and United. If you missed any of the live broadcasts, have no fear. Channel 6 is here. We've got the reruns for you. United replays are going to be August 23rd, September 7th, and September 21st at those times on the screen. And the 3rd replays are going to be August 26th, and September 3rd, and September 23rd. And I'm going to let you know a little secret. We got this thing called the YouTube channel. You can watch them at your own convenience anytime you want to. If you don't want to watch the ones we put here on Channel 6, you can just watch them on YouTube anytime. You can even watch this show on YouTube over and over again if you really, really wanted to watch something on YouTube. There you go. All right, let's check our weather before I get in any more trouble. It's going to be 87 degrees today, then 91. That's going to be our peak temperature on Sunday. That's going to be the kind of the peak of the heat wave that we're going through. Then we're going to have a slight, not too great, but a slight cooling. At least we're not going to be in the 90s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Lots of sun out there. The marine layer is burning off pretty early these days and leaving us with lots of sunny skies. Even on, look at that on Wednesday, lots of sun. Like I said, there you go. Let's check our sunrise, sunset, and we got a beautiful picture of this snowy egret here in Laguna Woods Village Creek. I love it when you see those egrets walking around like by the creeks and over the lakes and stuff like that. They kind of have no fear. You can get pretty close to them, and then they fly away, and they're pretty majestic too. Thank you, Miguel Segura, for sending this picture into us. Sunrise this morning was 6:19. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:27. If you have a picture of an egret or just your pets around the house or just cool shots around the village, go ahead and send it to us. Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the partnership between RadNet and the Firefighters Association. Stay with us.
Firefighters put themselves on the line every day, running toward danger to keep us all safe. But who is there to keep them safe from the hazards they face to their health? RadNet and the Lung Health Coalition have teamed up to provide complimentary lung screening exams for these brave men and women across Los Angeles. But we need your help. Without donations, we can't help our firefighters detect and treat lung cancer early. Visit us at lunghealthcoalition.org.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Here to discuss lung screening program for firefighters. I'm pleased to welcome Timothy Merchant, National Director of RadNet, to talk about the importance of lung screening. Hello, Timothy. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us on today.
Well, I know that you're at the airport, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you so much for taking a little bit of your time to be on the show with me today. It's a super important topic,
Yeah.
and I'm just grateful that you're here.
We agree. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. So talk to me, what is the mission of the
Yeah.
Lung Health Coalition?
Yeah, it's a great question. So a couple of years ago, we collaborated with an incredible cardiothoracic surgeon. He is also one of the national directors of oncology for the Sarah Cannon Cancer Institute. His name is Dr. Matthew Mann. Brilliant surgeon. This is a gentleman who works frequently with a robot. And if you have a family member who's having any lung health issues, he's the person you want to go to. But he's also kind of a magnet for the community. And he did an incredible job in bringing folks together, including the organization that I work for, RadNet, to put together and spin off a non-for-profit that is solely focused on driving up the rates for lung cancer screening. To keep it very simple, lung cancer screening is critically important. And if a person is screened for lung cancer, and if we can detect it at its earliest stage, the survivability rate is over 80%. Unfortunately, when it's undetected, that's not the case. And the survivability rate is a lot less. But our organization is focused on driving education and awareness on the importance of lung screening, especially for those who are at a higher level of risk, like smokers, long-term smokers, firefighters, first responders, and veterans. So that's a bit about the organization. It is now a formal non-for-profit 501c3 organization, and it is supported by individual donors, large corporations, and also large health systems as well throughout the country.
Fantastic. How long has RadNet been around?
So RadNet was actually founded in 1980 by our CEO and founder, obviously, Dr. Howard Berger. It was founded in Beverly Hills. It started in one imaging center, and it now actually has over 400 imaging centers in 8 different states. And it is a worldwide leader, not only in outpatient imaging, but also in artificial intelligence that ties into radiology and the early detection of a lot of different cancers.
So speaking of AI, how has that changed the lung screening process over the years?
It's unbelievable what AI can do. Deep learning artificial intelligence it's excellent with pattern detection. And if you're looking at a chest scan or a CT or an exam, a radiology exam, it really is composed of just a lot of data. So AI has the ability to detect important patterns that it sees on chest scans, on mammograms, or other radiology exams. And it aids the radiologists and it helps them find areas of suspicion like lung nodules, which show up as spots on either a chest x-ray or a CT. But it also helps the radiologist determine the level of risk as to whether or not that nodule or that area of suspicion could be cancerous or could be another lung health disease.
That is fantastic. I mean, just medical advances and AI in general is just really propelling our life and lifestyle to the next level. It's amazing. So
It is.
how did the Lung Health Coalition get involved with the California firefighters?
Yeah, so we saw a need, and as first of all, RadNet as an organization performs a lot of screening for firefighters all throughout the country, in the state of Arizona, in the state of New Jersey, and then certainly in California as well. The non-for-profit arm, the Lung Health Coalition, really saw a need when you think about these poor men and women that find themselves in smoke in areas of highly concentrated carcinogens for
Right.
long periods of time. They're putting their lives at risk and they're putting their long-term health at risk really by doing so.
Absolutely.
And when you think about the terrible wildfires that have occurred, over the past year and are still occurring today, we thought as an organization, the Lung Health Coalition and RadNet both thought it was the right thing to do to offer to LA City firefighters a free lung screening, free of
Wow.
charge, free of hassle, free of a lot of the hurdles and the paperwork that you also have to go through. It was just the right thing to do.
Right.
And RadNet will continue to advocate for, again, education and the importance around lung screening for all of our first responders, all of our veterans that find themselves in similarly challenging long-term health situations because of all of these carcinogens that exist, whether it's at a fire or in the field of battle.
Right. Fantastic. That's absolutely commendable and wonderful at the same time. So how can our viewers support this amazing cause?
Yeah, we're grateful for asking. So the Lung Health Coalition, again, is a 501(c)(3) not-for-profit organization, and we depend entirely on sponsorships from corporations, from health systems, and certainly from individuals. That is one way that you can support our organization. If you go to Lung Health Coalition, all one word, .org, we have a beautiful website that our team has put together where you can make a personal donation. The other way that you can help support our organization is just by going to your loved ones. Maybe you know somebody in your life that has smoked for a long period of time or has found themselves subject to secondhand smoke or other carcinogens based on their line of work. Encourage them to go out and to get a low dose CT, a lung screening, because it can absolutely help save their life. And it's challenging because a lot of folks that have smoked for much of their life, there's a level of guilt that they have done something for themselves, and some folks don't even believe that they deserve to have this screening or to be healthy.
Oh, you,
So it's important to reach out to those people in your lives to make sure that if they are a smoker or that are at a higher level of risk, that they go out and they get a low dose CT screening.
absolutely. Wow. And completely guilt-free at that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, aside from the carcinogens that are just in the air, or the first responders, firefighters,
Yeah.
smokers, any other thing that can cause
Yeah.
lung cancer or cause for concern. But my
Yeah.
mind's reflecting back to when I was a young girl and I lived in Northern California. And there was a paper plant that was located directly on the river,
Right.
pretty close to where I grew up. And my brother and I, both at very young ages, had a lot of spots all over our lungs.
Yeah. So that is what we're seeing is about 75% of the people that do come down with lung cancer, it comes from smoking. But
Mhm.
there's a whole another 25%. And unfortunately, that's a growing number where younger people are getting lung cancer. And there's a lot of research that's going into this right now. We're actually seeing more younger women coming down with lung cancer that have never smoked. And maybe they've never even been subject to secondhand smoke of any kind or other carcinogens. But if you have a personal story there, again, if you had that kind of exposure and they saw that at a younger age, it'll be important that you work with your primary care physician or a pulmonologist. And I would ask them if you would be eligible for a low dose CT to have that screening. And again, they should be able to tell very quickly whether or not you're at a higher level of risk for lung cancer or any other lung health diseases.
Right.
It's not just lung cancer. There's COPD, and emphysema, and a lot of other diseases that can occur. So, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that you and your family have gone through that. But it's important to go out and talk to your physician and go out and get screened, especially if they advise that.
Well, and what I love about you being on my show today is that we're bringing awareness to this, right? I probably would have never even thought about that story ever again unless talking to you and
That's
learning the importance of proper screening.
yeah, that's an important thing. If you think about breast cancer screening, right? I think the country and the healthcare community has done a wonderful job in raising awareness with Susan G. Komen, the American Cancer Society. There's so many other organizations because that cancer has touched so many women.
Right.
The sad fact is that lung cancer will kill more women than breast cancer does in this country. And we don't see the awareness behind the importance of
Not
screening.
at all.
And that's what our whole organization is about,
Not at all.
is driving awareness and education. We also help to sponsor people that cannot afford a lung cancer screening or they don't have coverage. So that's something that the Lung Health Coalition can also assist with. And we do this on a very regular basis, helping people get screened.
Timothy, you're a wealth of information, and I'm so grateful that you took the time from your travels to talk with us here at Village Television today.
We're so grateful for the opportunity and the platform to be able to share this with all of your residents and your community as well. And
Yes.
again, if it's even a question, if you have a loved one or if it's yourself personally, go out and get screened. Talk to your doctor, please. It's important and it can save your life.
Absolutely. Timothy Merchant with RadNet, thank you so much for being here with me
Hey,
today.
thank you so much again.
All
It's
right.
been a great day today. And I hope the sun comes out.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
All right, folks, get out there and get your lungs screened.
Thank
You're
you.
watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.
Our journey began in 2014 with both of my parents requiring services. I was at an absolute loss in terms of how we were going to monitor my mother and my father both. I came upon Salus Home Care and met with Quincy Novella, who became our case manager. Salus is unique in that they do have a case manager. Quincy was truly our quarterback throughout our entire journey with Salus Home Care and my parents' needs.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. Do you know the dangers of in-home care service? There's a lot of them, and my guests today are going to enlighten you with some information that I think that you need to know about. We welcome Bode Swanson and Quincy Novell with Salus Home Care. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hey,
Welcome to the show.
good to be back.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah.
Quincy, it's the first time on the show. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I know that we've got a lot of important things to talk about, as we were discussing before the show. I've had family members fall victim to some of these topics. But before we go there, let's talk about the history of caregiving in Laguna Woods Village.
So I've been with Salus for almost 14 years now. I've been in the industry about 30 years. So I've seen a lot of change over the years, and we love to help. We love to keep clients protected, and it's always best to go through an agency versus private.
Yeah, historically speaking, a lot has changed legally. When I started in this industry in 2003, it was just kind of coming out of obscurity. It was kind of a small mom and pop industry, and more and more people were needing the service. So as the demand has grown, of course, the state of California has gotten involved, and they've tried to regulate it and control it. And so what used to be a reasonably priced service, $15 an hour when this is 2003, 2004, 5, now is 30 to, no, not 30, more like 40, 38, $40 an hour. And so people might ask, well, why? Why is it so expensive now compared to what it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago? And the reason is since the state got involved, they've created a lot of legal parameters that we now have to work around, like overtime, and there's a sleep benefit, and there's meal time, and all these things that didn't used to exist. So now we have to cover all that. But the reason I feel like it's important for people to understand the history of caregiving or in Laguna Woods is, the main question might be, why is it so expensive? And the reason is, we are covering workers' comp, we are covering liability insurance, we're covering or ensuring that the client is protected against all eventualities, really, in the home. Wherein if you hire privately someone from care.com or Facebook or your neighbor's caregiver's cousin, there's no protections. And then you're really vulnerable and you can be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. So when did the certification come to be?
Do you remember 2000? I
don't remember.
It's probably been 10 years. I don't remember the exact year.
It was AB 241.
Yeah.
Do your clients generally feel safer having a service like yours, where they know all of those bases are being covered?
I think for the majority, yes. I mean, as soon as we explain the
Yeah.
reasons why. I mean, we do carry, they're all employees of our agency. We don't 1099 any of them. And we cover them for liability. And a lot of people don't know that after you hire someone and you have them for multiple years, once a patient passes and you no longer need them, they can go after you for unemployment, and you still have to pay this person for up to 6 months.
So that's just one example of a risk by not using an agency.
Yes, yes. I have a patient in Laguna Woods who had a private caregiver. I got this case through Adult Protective Services. But she had a caregiver for, I think, up to 7 years, a live-in for her husband. When he passed away of Parkinson's, this was during COVID time, they could not kick this live-in out of the home. She had to get an attorney for that, and she had to pay unemployment. So she needed a caregiver for her. She had to pay us for caregiving, as well as covering the caregiver that was private for her husband who had passed away.
And so what gave that caregiver the right, or the idea that she had the right to remain in the home?
It was a male, and I think I don't know what
Like
they
a
call
squatter?
it. Yes, it was squatter law or whatever.
So the laws were in his favor.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it was a 6-month battle before they finally got him out. And she also had to pay unemployment, which was a very sad thing for her.
But with an agency, like, we would never do that. I mean, we would never put a client in a situation where someone uninvited or unwanted is in your home. As a matter of fact, if you have a caregiver through our agency and for whatever reason you don't like the caregiver, it's not a good fit, personality, just change it. So we're never putting a client in harm's way. The other thing about the 1099 versus W-2, we employ all of our caregivers. When a caregiver comes in that's hired privately, the client also has to file their taxes, also has to issue the 1099 for the patient. So there's all these little legal parameters that they have to kind of work within and obey in order to stay compliant with the law. And no caregiver is telling a client that. No age. And I'll just say one more thing. A lot of times, the 1099 companies will pose as a W-2 agency like Salus. They'll say, "Oh yeah, they'll pretend like they're doing things in a legitimate way, but they're actually not." So the red flag, I always say, if you going rates now for an hourly caregiver are around 40,
35
right?
to 38 if it's 8 hours or more.
So high 30s. If you see an agency that's low 30s, it should just be a red flag.
Red flag.
I'm not saying that it's definitely a bad actor or whatever, but no one can afford to run a company doing things legally and pay a caregiver $30 an hour.
Right, unless
Do your
they're
research.
working for themselves, which brings me to my next question, which is super important because there's so many fraudsters out there. Let's say we've got grandma, mom, dad looking on Facebook or looking on Craigslist, or maybe it's word of mouth, and they find, I'm going to call it an imposer, a caregiver imposer.
Yep.
I mean, what are the risks there?
It's the same thing. They're private. And, many people think they're protected because they will show them their little HCA license, which is their home care
good point.
license through the state of California. But that only means that they went through the state to get their certification.
The personal certification.
But no one keeps track of them after they get that.
Yeah, and
if
is
they were
there any
arrested
phone number
after.
to call to verify
Good question.
these individuals?
I don't know.
There is a number. I don't have that with me right now, but yes. But that doesn't mean that they have workers' comp insurance. It doesn't mean that they can go after, they could still go after for unemployment because you're hiring them privately. If you are writing a check and paying the client or paying the caregiver privately through your own checkbook, you're carrying all liability.
Yeah. Yeah, so the certification just means that their skills have been checked,
Sure.
which is good. And a lot of the times, people are going to be fine. If you do hire someone privately, we're not saying that it's all doom and gloom. Sometimes, most of the time, you're probably going to get lucky. But is it worth the risk?
Well, I'm just a little jaded because, as I was sharing with you before the show, my mom befriended somebody who imposed as her lover, and she was highly taken advantage of, even while I'm in the picture, even while I'm in the house, you know, daily checking on her, going back and forth. And he would sneak in and he would take valuables. I mean, it becomes a nightmare. And to your point, Quincy, trying to get these people out of the house, it's a nightmare. I mean, can you imagine going home and having to sort of act like life is normal when a person is in your house? I mean, to me, it's just absolutely not worth any risk. It's not worth saving $10 an hour whatsoever. So I don't always mean to be doom and gloom, but I just know how important this subject is.
And many clients who have found a caregiver, say on care.com, you know, sometimes they'll call me and just get advice, and I always say, we can hire them. If you'd rather be protected, you can ask that caregiver to apply with us.
Good point.
And go through some of those background checks that we do just to make sure that they're an employee of the agency. But they would have to qualify, of course.
So any tips on how to spot or recognize somebody who's not necessarily legitimate?
Yeah, I would say if you go through Laguna Woods Social Services, pretty safe bet. I think they're going to give you agencies that are bona fide. If you're going through word of mouth or your neighbor's caregiver, or if it's just kind of just around the village, it's a little risky. And like I said, if you see a rate that feels a little low compared to agencies that social services is recommending, then that's a red flag, big red flag, and you should do a little more homework. And you can call Salis, you can call Quincy. We don't need to have all the business. We just want to do good in the community. So if someone just wants advice, or they just want to, like, is this legitimate, or does this look okay, or what, we'll tell you. We don't need to, like, you know, box somebody out and win the business. We're really here just because we want to do good and help the community. Not only, I mean, we are a business. We want to, you know, do good work, but we love just being able to give advice and direction as well. So.
Well, I appreciate you being here and giving that advice and direction. Quincy, thank you. Bode, thank you so much. Appreciate your tips and pointers. You're watching This Day on Village TV. We will be back after these messages.
21 years ago, I started Salis Home Care because I saw a need for a professionally run home care organization in Laguna Woods. We've been in business for 21 years. Call Salis and let us show you why we've been in business longer than any other home care company in South Orange County.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the program, and let's talk about Saturday's movie. It is a good one. It is called The Good Shepherd. Stars Matt Damon, Robert De Niro, and Angela Jolie. It's brought to us by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. The movie is going to be in subtitles at 2 p.m. and then without the subtitles at 6 p.m. It's a great movie. I remember seeing it in the theaters way back when, in 2006, when it came out. All right, folks, let's take a quick check of the weather before we head out, and we got a warm weekend, so it might be actually nice to stay in and watch a movie at 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. today. Wait for the evening to cool off. 87 is going to be our high today, then 91 tomorrow, and then we get slightly cooler temperatures into the week. Pretty warm one for a little while here. Monday on the program, we're going to welcome the jazz lovers and bocce club to the program. And that's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.